maybe this is long developing. We're not just going to buy that, are we? Because on the short term, this thing's just been coming straight off monthly. So let's see if we get some bidding up now on this micro view. I just was going through where the market went whole in value wise. I'll show you some weakness that might get us actually on the short side. We couldn't get up there. So I'm going to now see if we get further evidence for a move down. We got plenty of failed attempts to get above this transition now. Look at that theme. If we try to think about what others aren't aware of, not moving up into those value areas, that for me is a key piece of evidence that others aren't going to be aware of. So if I want to end it short, where do I want to do so? I want to do so at the edge of this theme. So yeah, you don't want to get short along here, but anywhere in here after these failures is good, isn't it? And you're using acceptance and the transition and the evidence I just spoke about, and you're joining some big cats who are selling. And while they're not actually pushing the market lower, that selling's not going offside. I wouldn't say it's an A+ scenario to go short by any stretch of the imagination, because we've got another view here that says, what the heck, this thing's going up. So I have gone short, mainly the lack of closing that hole in value. That's what I've really pinned this trade on. You see how the market maker took this up and then the big guys came in and go whack. Now we've seen many a time where participants, particularly the sort of value guys, particularly if it's like a market maker, hold price in a certain area so they can do more and more business, just keep going and going until they fill their orders, the quantity that they need to do. When's that most likely to take place? When they can dominate. When are they going to dominate? When there's an absence of other players due to pending data and a change of session with London. So it's a good time for them to do it. So yeah, cool. Might be in a short and might be just on side, but I'm also mindful that we could continue to see this movement here. But I mean, that's the job, is you're trying to always look at the reasons not to be in it. So it's not about having a lack of confidence or second guessing yourself. It's just trying to not get tunnel vision in what you're doing and trying to be open-minded about you might be wrong, and you're constantly sort of dancing between the two. There's some decent business. So as I said, the biggest piece of evidence is the lack of filling the gap to the upside. And I can see now the selling is impacting price. So I've taken a bit off, but I'm trying to hold here to get a bit more of a squeeze, because I'm not so fussed about this transition down here, because it's not relevant now because of the absence of other players. I could be wrong. I'm just trying to evaluate. Right, so that's at the second deviation. So let's see if we ricochet back up or if we keep going. So through the course of the day, there's just countless opportunities for this sort of stuff, isn't there? Where you can just catch a few pieces of evidence that you can have some confidence in others not seeing. I'm asking a lot to get through basically what led to the last push-up under. I mean, look at that. That's a bit of a wall. So that's not really well handled. Yeah, so I got that partly right and a lot wrong by not thinking about just how significant that area is. Like whether the market eventually breaks through it, the odds of it not having a reaction. So what I should have done is gone, well, okay, get more off down here. Yeah, sure, leave a runner, but whereas I got my ratio of runner to take money round the wrong way. So a bit fortunate there, like that's not skill to do the wrong thing and then get another chance to do the right thing. I very much know that was pretty lucky. So I still have some runner just in case, but now I've got the ratio right. Let's see if this thing gives up. And you can see some of the aggressive selling yet again down at these lows. So every time we get down there, someone's going, uh-oh, multiple failures. They're an incredibly robust tool, aren't they, for leaning on, for entering trades, getting in near the edge. Now, we could really accelerate to the downside because it's what I alluded to before, a big hole in value for the Hong Kong session. And the ASX is shut. So the traders who are impacted if we get down here are the ones that have been buying above all during Hong Kong, and they're still around because Hong Kong's still open, and there is exiting order flow going on here. Now, some of them will have their pain point at a lower level, or their line in the sand, I should say. I shouldn't always refer to everything as pain. It's not painful for everyone. It's just going to be, a matter of fact, I think, for some of these bigger guys that are selling such quantity. So known set of traffic lights here. Does it become a U-turn? Good old CME VWAP. Can't break the theme, can we, thus far? The European second and third deviation theme. Because what would be great is if we really start to push outside of that band And so it doesn't become a factor anymore. And then we can look to re-engage, even maybe get a steep move with some failures, get some ads going on, because you want to be adding in that huge area of no business. This is nonsense on no business on the way up, so we can ignore that. So I've got like a first mouse, second mouse failure at CME VWAP. I don't really want to give back open equity here. So this is it. This is into the area we want to be. Right, so a slight pause just at the change of session / data. Right, so we're getting some failures there, but it's a little bit too erratic for me. Like the numbers on the DOM resemble a slot machine. Enough there to work with. Sellers offer the market here, then they start offering below the whole VWAP, high acceptance. Just have to wait, be patient, and then bang, it comes in. Tons of business. Here comes all the selling that maybe this group was hoping that this thing would keep going, and now it's rolling over and it's like, oh, we have to exit. Doesn't mean that it's going to definitely move lower though. So, if you're working up near edges, you get a bit of a cushion, and then of course you're like, okay, now I got to be trying to be attentive to if this isn't working right now, I need to cover. So what a shame. The key here is look at the front running of the pre-pro highs. So I don't want to get in the way of that because that's obviously aggressive. It's sometimes hard to switch views or kind of see the market as being in a completely different phase when you change sessions. So initially we got this push down and it failed. And as I mentioned, the front running of the pre-pro highs. Now, prior to that, we had a really significant move to the downside before London opens. So what does London do? Well, we don't really know in here other than the front running. And so it's only by about here you start going, okay, well, buyers are bidding up. That's aggressive, but I don't want to trade into this. Oh, okay, here's the opportunity. And it's a lot of flipping, not views, but just, it's almost like starting afresh again, isn't it? When there's a change of session, because you're carrying over. I mean, I was carrying over the notion of this taking us, continuing on. And then of course, this just ended it for me. And then I sat there for quite a while, not really knowing, am I going to go back short? It took me a while before I stopped thinking like that and started going, oh, hang on a minute, this is a completely different session. Let me just try and start with a clean slate. But I certainly can empathize with anyone who gets caught wanting to just trade that move. But that's where our evidence comes in. There was no short trade in here, was there? You have to let the evidence guide you, not, but hang on a minute, what about this move all the way down to, that hole in value? Well, that was another session and things have changed since then. So it's a challenge, but it needs to be a challenge so that traders get caught out and there's opportunities as a result of it. Because I think what we've just witnessed now is all of those who got super committed to the short zone. So now we're back to looking at, okay, can we come and trade up here again? We still haven't hit that value area. So I only got a bit of that because it took me so long to switch my head around from I'm still looking for this to roll over. And I mean, I could see buyers bidding up. It just wasn't on my radar, but I'm not going to get too down on myself about it because it's not the first trade of the day. I've done plenty through the course of the day. So it gets harder once you've done plenty. It's just like working out at the gym. You get fatigued, don't you? So into the transition, want to see buyers bidding up, into newer session. Maybe there's an opportunity here.